to just see what was wrong with this transmission and skip over all my talking and boring stuff, then I encourage you to go to the end of this video, and then that's where you'll see what was the broken parts and what was wrong with it. Enjoy. All right, everybody. Well, we're gonna try to do this a little bit clearer on the GoPro. That was the other suggestion I got within a few days, is the quality of my camera isn't very good, which I agree. So anyways, I'm not going to talk too much. I'm just going to quickly show you this transmission and kind of show you what's going on. This transmission was built new, had a problem, wouldn't shift in the second, blah, blah, blah. Got it from my wife's father, and he put about 2 minutes into it before he got pretty frustrated and just quit messing with it, and I guess got a different transmission. Turbo 400, 74 model, nothing fancy dancy. We'll go over what's wrong with it here in a little bit, but I'm just going to quickly show you how to throw one of these together. I did pull out the, I guess that's the reverse and stuff. I don't know. I don't know really about the drums or anything on this stuff, but I did pull out that and checked everything. I have a book just to make sure all the little shims and stuff was all put together right. Not saying he didn't put it together right when he built it, but obviously had a few problems, so just kind of did a quick check on it. So we're back to that area. Basically, when all that's just kind of sitting in there, there's a groove way down in there, and then you have a tapered snap ring that goes into that groove area. I think you want to keep your opening kind of in that area there with no teeth in the case, so I'll snap that in real fast and bring it back. All right, we got that snap ring in there. I know the light's not very good in this GoPro, but it's in there. The next thing you're gonna do is throw in, I don't even know what gear this would actually be, but you have kind of a wave flat or a steel disc for your clutch in there, and that technically goes in first. I know this is dark, forgive me. He goes in first like that, sits in there, and then you got clutch disc, steel plate, clutch disc, and then steel plate, clutch disc, and then you have your pressure plate. Some of these Turbo 400s, when you pull them out, they've got a cushioned steel plate before just a clutch plate, or clutch disc, but this one is the wave plate, clutch disc, so on and whatnot. So we'll stack those guys in there. I'm sure there's some specific way to put this in there. Like that, I don't know. I will admit to you this though, I have rebuilt 2 or 3 transmissions in my time, and you would think that I would actually know more about them, but I really don't. I just know how to pick up a book and look at them and read the tolerances and all that. Of course, I'm not going to check all the run out and all that stuff, because quite honestly, if this doesn't work, it doesn't work. This big goofy pressure plate one, it's got a big area with no teeth on it. Obviously, you're going to have to put that in the area that has no teeth in it. And pushed in there, and then you're going to stick the snap ring in there, so I'll do that real quick. Super duper careful, you can stand it on end, but I don't recommend it. After you get your snap ring in there, there's a little pin sticking out the side there, and then you got your second band. I believe this is what this is. Pretty sure it is. You just stick him right down in there like so. There's kind of that area there where this band actually goes, and then you'll have your piston and the valve body actually grab that and do all that good stuff. Next thing you might want to do, I don't think you'll be able to see it real good, but your clutch teeth, you want to try to get them aligned straight, because you got to actually stab your second drum in, and you got to get lined up on these teeth. I got to clean this off a little bit, and I do know this is the second drum, and you probably know that as well, since I told you there was a problem with second gearing this, but we'll get back to that here in a bit. Let me get this guy stuck in there and we'll bring you to the next one. As long as you got those clutch discs aligned, it's really not that bad. So second drum is in there, or second clutch, whatever you want to call that. And then this is the hardest one because there's a multiple disc. I don't know how many there are, probably 6, 7 of them. You want to make sure you get those little teeth lined up the best you can, because then you got to jam. I think this is first gear, and it's got to sit all the way down in there. So I doubt I can do this one-handed, but we're gonna try. Well, anyways, I'm gonna have to put you down and get this put in there, so give me a minute. All right, I got it in there. The next thing is the pump. The biggest thing on this pump here is to make sure everything is aligned nice and pretty, because unless you've got the pump pulling tool, once this guy kind of sits in there, he's kind of tough to get back out. Go. Pretty good. Your two middle holes here go on all your, I guess, all your valve body pressure. I think that's like, there's like 5 or 6 holes, and those are all for like the in and out of the cooling and all that other good stuff. So got that in there. Make sure it goes all the way down, because it should fit pretty much all the way tight, because if it's not, that means you don't have all your clutches in all the way. So I'm gonna fiddle with it. I think it's got to go down a little bit more. Oh, there it is. Okay, so that's completely seated in, but that's what you're looking for. You want it to be completely seated in. The first one of these transmissions I ever rebuilt, I end up messing up all the bolts going into this pump, because I thought, oh, it just needs to get sucked in with the bolts. Oh, it sucked in all right, and then a loud pop. And what I ended up doing was bending a bunch of the clutch disc because they weren't lined up, and the last one was holding everything up a little bit and all that good fun stuff. But anyways, I'll get these kind of tightened in, and then we can air check it, I think. So let me get this all figured out. Okay, I got Chelsea in here to help me with this. So what we're listening for is the clutch backs. You want to put that bolt in that hole. Nope, the other one. Right across from it. Right there. Push down on it. We're just listening for the clutch backs. Okay, I hear that one. You can pull that bolt out. I can hear it moving. Now you're going to lose a bunch of air through there. Okay, I hear that one. I hear that one. So they all work. This one here, we have to put that bolt in because it just sprays out of the opposite way. But it still works. You just can't hear it over the air. So. All right, thanks, Chelsea. Look at her nails. All right, thanks, Chelsea. Okay, so we know all the clutches are now working, so that's good. I'm sure dog hair is not good for a transmission, but anyways, I'm going to get this thing cleaned up and you know, just make sure nothing is wrong with the rest of it here. And I got to put in the servos that actuate the bands. I'm guessing this big one's reverse and this one would be second, I think. I don't know. I got a book, I could probably look and tell you, but I don't feel like it. I'm not going to be sugarcoating it. I don't want to learn and I don't want to teach you the wrong stuff. I just want you to look at it and assume that you could do this yourself, because if I can rebuild a transmission, you can rebuild a transmission. Just hopefully you do it in a cleaner environment. But let me get all those things over here and I might bring us back as I put them in, or might bring us back when I'm all done. All right, people, well, that's kind of a real pain in the butt, but this is that thing right there. It's got like a piston inside of it, inside of a piston, inside of that thing. That piston in particular has like snap rings or piston rings on it, that little one and that big one on top. And that's a real pain in the butt to get together, so I didn't show it. Like, I'm not showing much of anything on this, but you get all that in there, you push on it, you make sure the little springs are working and all that good fun stuff. That's kind of the gist of that. You get yourself a bolt started here. You know, and I had this on my engine stand actually over there, and probably should still have it on there, but this thing's pretty heavy now, and you know, I just don't feel like lifting it up. But anyways, you get the point on that. This next horrible little adventure is that thing right there, and that thing right there goes in there. I gotta get this cleaned up and everything. I guess it's not as horrible as a lot of this stuff could be, but let me get that cleaned up, stuffed in there. I'll bring the valve body over here. We gotta put the little bearings or ball bearings in there and that stuff, but yeah, I'm kind of hoping we can stab it in this car today, but I don't know if I'm gonna get that far. I'm not gonna promise that. All right, well, there's the check valves. The book's gonna tell you need anywhere between 6 and 7 depending on the year. We have 5. That's what was in it when I took it apart. I quickly went and checked to make sure that that is right. And you know, you can do it however. There's different ways you can do it, but as you'll probably see on most YouTube people talking about it, you have to have that one and you have to have that one there, or the world will blow up and nobody will be happy. Okay, with that being said, it's time to carefully look at my gaskets here. Sorry that I'm talking to myself all weird and slow. There we go. Okay, so you have a gasket that's going to say valve body and a gasket that's going to say case. These are the ones that were on it, and you know, they're still going to be fine, but I think, yeah, that's right. So some of the professional transmission rebuilder people are going to tell you that you're going to want to put some little studs to hold all this crap together, and they're probably right. We're going to do it the most impractical way. Lastly, you know, you want to inspect your valve body Make sure it's clean. This one I have already went through, checked everything. It's all in good shape. We'll have to put our park shift thingy majigger in there and get that put on there real fast. And not a whole lot left to do. We got to put in our governor filter down there and some other goodies and hook up our parking paw and put in our kickdown servo and tighten up all the bolts and torque them down, and she'll be pretty much ready to be installed. And somebody will probably ask me what's the in play on this. Don't know. I know it doesn't have very much, so I'm sure it's within the 25 thousandths or whatever they're asking for it. And like I said, this is the most impractical way to do this, but it is what it is. We'll get the valve body on, and I'll bring you back in a minute. All right, well, everything's back on. Don't forget to put in your vacuum shift thing and your governor cover. Make sure your governor's nice and free. Your kick down wire to your solenoid. It's pretty self-explanatory. There's nothing really that hard to do to put this all back together. So, like I said, this is probably the wrong way to do everything the wrong way. There's probably not really a right way to any of this. That's why I'm not telling you torque specs and doing a whole lot of anything, because, you know, this is just the cheapest, quickest, easiest way to do this. Now, I know you're probably still wondering, because I told you I would show you the problem with this transmission. Well, here's the second drum for it, which, fine, whatever. It's actually got brand new parts in it. However, when he put this together, he didn't get the lip on the seal in right. I don't know what happened, but chunks of seal were all wrapped up in this thing. And here's the front clutch. I mean, it's pretty bad, but it's all weird on the side here. Now here's the pressure plate, completely shattered. I asked a couple of professionals, how do you shatter a pressure plate? Like, none of this came out. It was just springing out, and it was actually really hard to get this all out of there. It was completely together, but it was just springing out. Nobody could really give me an answer, so I don't know. I'm guessing it just has something to do with this getting jammed up and causing problems. I mean, that's the only thing I can come up with. But that second drum that I used, I took that out of one of those Jeep Wagoneers that had a turbo 400 with a 401 on it. And I just took the whole drum out. The clutches in them aren't horrible, but these new grid clutches, other than this one clutch, were still in really good shape. So I took the nicest one of these that was nice and tannish still, and nice and thick, and put it in. Took that without putting that clutch in, put one of those in. But anyways, probably the absolute wrong thing to do, but like I said, sometimes you just got to do what you got to do. To buy one of these drums together was like $900 on eBay. Summit wanted $1,600 for them. You know, I got the transmission for free. I had plenty of other turbo 400s floating around. I'm just gonna put it together how I feel like putting it together. So it'll work great. If it doesn't work, well, then we know. But I've got, other than I'll have transmission fluid into this transmission, I've got nothing in it. So fingers crossed that it just works. But anyways, I got to get my shop cleaned up, and I'm probably not going to put it in on video because it's nothing fun about it, and it's a struggle to get these things in there. I usually put the engine and transmission at the same time, but that excuse me, that turbo, or that 454, is pretty heavy, and that transmission's heavy too, so I just don't know my old cherry picker would do that very safe, and I don't want to find out if it can or not. But anyways, we're going to bring that probably in the next video. So I appreciate everybody watching, and we'll see you in the next video.